Hi guys, in my last few videos I have been referencing lifestyle creep a lot. Now I think for most of us in this community we know what it is, but actually when we get into it there are quite a few things to think about. So in this video let's have a chat about the biggest creep we face. So the biggest thing we think about when we think about how we would lose our wealth are taxes, divorce, unexpected illnesses, and it's true those factors can have a crazy impact on your wealth. However, one of the biggest factors we don't talk about is lifestyle creep. Now I love my husband and all that jazz, but divorce can of course be catastrophic on assets. We approach things as a family unit, and if it goes kaput, assets get divided and it all gets quite messy and costly to sort out. So no, I'm not trivializing this, but we do understand it and we should get the risks and be practical about them. So lifestyle inflation creep is a creep though. It's subtle and it builds up over the long run. Many of us giving birth to it when we first enter the workforce, getting a taste for the things we wanted but couldn't afford as students or kids, and that instant gratification becomes addictive. So then as we earn more, we crave to improve those experiences, and it creeps up, making lifestyle inflation one of the biggest killers of wealth and transferring money from our pocket to those who value it more. And it's funny how money finds its way back to those who really take care of it, I suppose. So what is lifestyle inflation? Well, imagine this: you've just been promoted, your salary goes up as well as your title and your responsibilities, but once you've digested that extra paycheck, you immediately give it a job. So to pay for better nights out, a nicer car, a bigger house, and that's what lifestyle inflation is. It's a simple and crazy equation where your expenses are pretty much a function of your income. So as you earn more, you end up spending more. So in my student days, I could put outfits together for less than a tenner. I know, guys. Even when I was dating my husband back then, one of the first dates we went on, I bragged about the fact that my outfit cost less than £20. Honestly, like when I think about it now, it's a shock that he even agreed to go on a date with me. Oh, and if I can find a picture, I might even put it here, but most likely not. And then he went on, obviously, because he has to brag about something. He boasted on getting his lunch down to 20 pence a day with hummus and pita. And actually, I do wonder what hummus and pita would be at today because of good old inflation, and he'd be old, guys. But now, if we feel a little bit worn out, we tend to spend £20 to get delivery to feed us when it would take us the same amount of time to maybe take a frozen meal out of the freezer and bung it in the microwave. Now, granted, we do have a budget which allows us to do this sometimes, so why shouldn't we? After all, we've worked so hard, traded our life for money, so screw you, I'm getting that pizza, whatever. However, the truth is that lifestyle inflation is why rich people go broke. It's what my husband says, cash flow rich and asset poor, and I do keep saying this phrase over and over again in my videos, but it makes sense. And making a lot of money or having cash move through your accounts does not necessarily make you rich. Say what? Yes, I said it, guys. Yes, you're earning a ton of money, but the thing is, you don't keep it, so that's not being rich. Making six-figure salaries and then spending that all on financing of fancy cars, interest on lavish pads and credit cards for nice clothes and holidays, all to look wealthy, doesn't mean that you're wealthy. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, then you're not wealthy, right? The ultimate measure of wealth is if your paycheck stops, how long could the current lifestyle be maintained? And that's quite a powerful collection of words. What I said was actually, if your paycheck stopped, how long could your current lifestyle be maintained? And it shows that wealth is not completely how much you earn, but how much of it you keep. And by that token, a family making, say, something like 80 to 90k a year could be wealthier than a family that turns over £1 million, right? How's that? Some of you are wondering out there, you cynics. Well, a family that makes, say, let's round it up, 100k, and have 100k saved and spend 30k a year would be able to go over 3 years if the income stopped. By contrast, a family that made £1 million and had 100k saved, remember, cash flow rich and asset poor, and they spend 500k a year, would just make over 3 months if their paycheck stopped. So again, being wealthy is how much of your money you keep and not how much of your money you make or passes through your accounts, guys. Now, you may be thinking, well, I love what I do, I can work forever. Though the reality is, while we live in the present, the future will come and we don't know what that looks like. I have 2 babies now, and my attitude to work is different from when I was in my teens, in my 20s. Likewise, there could be a crazy pandemic that changes the job market and removes our role for months or years. And these things may not be predictable, but they kind of are too. And yes, the future is unpredictable, but it will be the status quo that we do live in now from my perspective. So moving on, what are the telltale traps and why do we do it? Well, I think the number one thing it boils down to is keeping up with the Joneses, which is essentially the need to project a certain level of social status. The thing we overspend on are normally visual things, and we want to be peacocks. It's human nature. Big houses, luxury cars, lavish holidays, designer clubber, jewelry, watches, all of those good things that scream, look at me, I made it kind of thing, right? As we earn more money and move through life, we inevitably succumb to the peer pressure as well, and it's true. So let's sprinkle some facts. As you know, I love to look at the science. We are, as humans, scientifically proven to compare ourselves to others, and that is according to a research paper by Ada Ferrer Carbonellin. Yeah, I think Carbonellin. Ada found that our happiness and sense of self-worth are impacted by two main factors. Firstly, how much money you make, and secondly, how much money the people around you make. And taking it a step further, those that feel like they make more money than their friends and neighbors feel more successful. It's called social comparison, and it is a thing. And it's a fundamental rationale for lifestyle inflation. You have to remember that with our connected world, lifestyle inflation is a way bigger issue. With all our connected social media, we see the best polished parts of our friendship circle, we see the highlights of other people's lives that they want to share, and the way these algos work, trust me, we see them even more and we like it. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, like, I have always had this conspiracy that my phone is listening to me. The other day, watching dinner, we were having dinner, I had a bit of TV in the background, and there were 5 ads that were targeted to my husband because he's logged in onto our TV via his smartphone. I could even remember, I could probably recall them right now if I wanted to. But that was insane, guys, honestly. But I digress, and I think as a result, we do need to take a step back, think about our finances, build our self-confidence, to be happy with what we need and be more meaningful with our money as well and our personal finances. So again, let's sprinkle a few of those facts. So there is a report called The Secret Financial Life of Americans. These kind of things are the juiciest things, honestly. And it found that approximately a third of millennials try to make themselves look wealthier than they are through their social media. Is that a surprise, anybody? Social media actually amplifies social comparison, which fuels lifestyle creep. Now, I won't cover this fully in this video, but with cheap money abound, there is real danger that we begin living beyond paycheck to paycheck when we succumb to lifestyle creep. And then there's that spiral of using debt, and now debt can be a powerful wealth builder when used properly. I have a video on that which I will link at the end, obviously, but when you use it to buy a lifestyle, it can be a pretty destructive spiral, guys. So how do we beat it is the question. Well, firstly, a strong mindset and building that self-confidence. So you have to be comfortable in your skin and not give really two hoots about what people think of you. So if we drive a second-hand car or a beat-up city wagon, it's our choice. If we buy vintage clothes, milk up our food, live minimal lives, hustle, invest instead of spend, that's our choice. How amazing is it to know that you have the capacity to do it, but you don't actually have to do it to feel fulfilled? So understand your whys, understand our whys. Those of you that watch my channel know that my why is my family, my girls. That's it. Spending time with them and having shared experiences and building a future where I have options and don't have to worry about money is way more important to me than a Hermes handbag. But having said that, don't worry, guys. I did go through that phase of buying things that I don't need. Since I'm confessing here, I do have a pair of Jimmy Choos which have not been worn ever. Sit in my hoard. Don't tell my husband that. I spent several £100s on these, but no regrets. That was then. And there is one practical piece of advice. So every time you get a pay rise, for example, bank the increase in investing, pay down debt for saving for the future, just automate it so the day we get paid, the excess is taken away so that you don't feel like you're used to that sudden creep up. And it is boring, I suppose, but it's not permanent. Once you have your future sorted and your emergency fund taken care of, you can budget increases so you have those extra toppings on your life. Who knew that I could actually talk so much about this topic? Here is the playlist called Hustle Muscle, which I think complements this video quite nicely. Go check it out, guys.